Hey boys, welcome back to the channel, and this is going to be my State of Origin Game 1 preview discussion. I'm going to be honest, I was going to do a couple of videos in the lead up to Origin, but I honestly forgot that the game was on today. I thought it was another week away, dude. I was losing it when I heard people talk about Origin, because I was keeping up with it, and then it just snuck up on me. I don't know. I guess because just the way the season's gone, grand finals done. It's a weird year. So here is I'm making this video Wednesday afternoon. It'll go up around Wednesday late afternoon. But we'll go through the teams. I'll go through my sort of predictions, and let's get into the discussions now. First and foremost, I'm obviously a Queenslander, so I'm gonna be biased. Like there's no way I can't be biased. I'm obviously going for Queensland, and I do think Queensland can win. It would be pretty ridiculous if you go for New South Wales or Queensland and don't think your team can win. So I'm back in Queensland, but I'll go through just the team lineups here. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the team that Wayne Bennett picked for Queensland. I was a little bit shocked with a few of the selections. Pretty shocked for sure. And we'll discuss that. But both teams have been a little bit injury riddled. I think Queensland have been screwed over a fair bit more with Kalen Ponga, Valentine Holmes. Who else? I mean, Kyle Feldt also probably would have got picked. David Fafita. There's another big name. Who was the other one? Ponga, Holmes, and am I losing it? There's another fullback, isn't it? I can't think. My mind. But regardless, let's get into it. So the fullbacks here: James Tedesco v AJ Brimson. Honestly, Tedesco, best fullback in the game, I would say probably yes. I think he's the most, rounded fullback. Just always a threat, always on the footy. I think he's improved his passing game quite a bit. I still think he could work on that aspect, but I think he's the most well-rounded fullback at the moment. But AJ Brimson, I actually think he's very Tedesco-like. I mean, Brimson, he's always bobbing around. He's not the biggest body, but he's strong. He's got a bit of power in his legs, and he's quick. And I love Brimson. I think this is a great pick. With obviously Holmes and Ponga being out, I would have loved Ponga to be the fullback and Brimson to come off the benches at 14. But I think Brimson starting is not bad at all. I think he's going to do a fantastic job. It's always tough. First Origin as a fullback, he's going to be targeted. Plenty of high balls his way. I think he can handle it. I definitely think he can handle it. He's pretty safe. And he's just got that X factor. I'm very, very excited for this matchup. Coming down to it, Tedesco is the better player at the moment, but I do think Brimson matches up very, very well. Pretty much all around. The wingers, two debutants here, and this is one area where I'm a little bit suspect. So Phillip Sami, I'm pretty happy he's been selected. I actually didn't realize he was a Queenslander at the start of the year, but I really like Phillip Sami. He's got a lot of talent. He had a good year. Probably his first year without too many injuries. He sort of had good years or good stints, but then he's picked up an injury. This year he's been pretty unscathed, and he's good player, very, very good player, fairly underrated. Xavier Coates, I cannot understand how Xavier Coates got selected. Again, Queensland with Holmes, with Kyle Feldt being out, I just can't believe they didn't pick Ronaldo Mulatalo. I don't know, maybe he's injured as well. I'm actually not too sure, but I cannot believe he's gone with Xavier Coates. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, Xavier Coates has done a couple of freakish things, and I know a lot of people are on his case because he's very hyped up, but I definitely think he is going to be a future star. He's going to be a rep star, Brisbane Broncos star of the future. But I'm just surprised Bennett picked him. I just don't think he's. I mean, he could play. I actually think he's going to play well for sure. I actually think he's going to be good, but I'm just shocked that he got picked because he wasn't playing that well for the Broncos, and the Broncos were so trash. I'm just surprised. And then on the flip side, you got Daniel Tupou, who I think is a really good pick, and obviously Josh Adokar. I think Tupou has been the best winger all year. I think he's been the most. Yeah, I think he's just been the most solid winger. Adokar has lit it up at the back end of the year, but I think Daniel Tupou at the start and the middle of the year was exceptional for the Roosters, and I think their wingers are definitely. I think that they definitely have the nod over the Queenslanders, but who knows, dude. Clint Gutherson, Jack Wyden for the Blues. Now, I don't know, dude. I mean, it worked last year. Don't get me wrong. Freddie had Wyden and Tom Trbojevic. I do find it a little bit silly, though, people acting like Fittler was such a genius for picking Trbojevic in the centres last year. Obviously, Trbojevic was going to get picked in the team, and obviously, Tom Trbojevic is an absolute freak. He can play anywhere in the back five. Like, I don't know why that was such a genius move, but I do look at this pairing, Gutherson and Wyden, and I think Wyden will do a good job because he's such a strong defender. He's a strong ball carrier. But Clint Gutherson in the centres, I don't know, dude. I mean, it shows a lack of depth in centres for both states. I mean, yeah, I'm just surprised New South Wales don't have two genuine gun centres to select. I guess you would, if everyone was fit and firing, probably Latrell Mitchell if he wasn't injured. James Roberts potentially if he was in good form. Joey Leilua. But yeah, there's no real genuine centres for either states. I mean, you look now at the Queenslanders, and obviously I think big news coming out, Branko Lee is actually injured, so Kurt Capel is going to come into the centre for him. Which honestly is probably not a bad thing. I actually think Branko Lee is pretty underrated. I think he's a little bit harshly criticised at times. And I actually like Branko Lee quite a bit. He's got just that X factor in attack, and I think he's done a great job with the Storm. So I wasn't disappointed to see Branko Lee in the team, but if he is out injured, which I think the reports were, Kurt Capel coming in, he can do. I mean, Kurt Capel is an absolute gun as well. I'm very happy he's in the team. Very versatile. He's strong in defense. I think they match up pretty well. And then Dane Gagai, the other center. I actually think out of all these four, Dane Gagai is definitely the best center. So I don't know. I think the centers are a bit of it's a mixed bunch, and it'll be interesting to see how they attack. Yeah. I don't know. The combinations are going to be weird, dude. It's going to be a weird sort of defensive line. Then we go to the halves. So Luke Keary v Munster, Nathan Cleary v Cherry Evans. Now, the big question, does Nathan Cleary hold any demons from the grand final? Up against Cherry Evans, he's been there before. It's hard to pick these guys. I mean, they're honestly very similar players. This year you would definitely say Cleary has been the better player, but again, he played with the Panthers, who have just they couldn't lose even when they weren't playing that well. They just didn't lose games. On the flip side, the Seagulls were pretty atrocious with injuries and just not playing well. So I mean, it's sort of hard to judge both these guys against each other. They had very different teams to play with. And then Luke Keary, Cameron Munster. I mean, Cameron Munster is just a better player than Luke Keary. I know some people may disagree, but I'm 100% Cameron Munster is the best 5'8" in the game. I just don't think Luke Keary is as good as Munster. He's a good player, and I think he's very dangerous. I'm worried about the halves pairing for New South Wales, but I mean, Cameron Munster is just an absolute freak. He's so good, and I just like the combination of Munster and Cherry Evans just a bit more than Cleary and Keary. It doesn't mean that they'll play better. Again, Queensland bias, obviously. I'm sure people of New South Wales think the opposite, that the Cleary-Keary combination is the superior one. But for me, I'm leaning towards the Munster-Cherry Evans combo. The forward, or the front row, Daniel Saifiti, Christian Welch, Damien Cook, Jake Friend, and Junior Paulo, Josh Papali. Jeez, what a... That's a big, strong front row pack right there. So Saifiti, obviously he's been very good, but I'll be honest, like, his form and the Knights' form at the end of the year just went off a cliff. Like, the Knights just played awful. You look against Christian Welch, I mean, the Storm and he were, they were playing incredible. So I got to go with Welsh just on form. Damien Cook, Jake Friend. It's interesting. I mean, Cook has been okay this year, and then Jake Friend hasn't really played much this year. So I like Jake Friend. I'm happy he got selected. I know Harry Grant was in the mix, but I think they went with the right option. I think Jake Friend deserved the spot, and honestly, I think Jake Friend is just an incredible dummy half, and I think he'll do a great job. Hopefully, he just doesn't get injured. That would be an absolute disaster. But we do have Ben Hunt on the bench, so it's not diabolical. But I think Jake Friend is I do really like. I actually really like our front row. Looking at Papali as well, just really good form, good mobility. Jake Friend, just, strong as houses in defense, has a little bit of attack in him, can kick the footy as well. Damien Cook, I think his defense sort of, it got a bit found out at the end of the year. Obviously, in attack, he's still very, very dangerous, but I think defensively, Jake Friend is far stronger. And then Junior Paulo here, I think he's the big threat. I mean, Junior Paulo, if he has one of his games where he's just on, he's offloading, everything's sticking, he can be just a nightmare. He's got the skills of a halfback. He's got the footwork of a center. He's just a menace. So yeah, hopefully we got to target him. But again, it's Origin. So guys like Paulo, they don't usually play their natural game. Like, is he going to be offloading 5-6 times a game? I sort of doubt it, but who knows, dude? We'll see what Fittler does with them. Then the back row, Cordner, Felice Kafusi, Frizzell, Cohen Hess, Jake Trbojevic, Tino, Fasuma Ali. So this is the other one where I'm just scratching my head in absolute disbelief. How the hell has Cohen Hess been selected in the back row for Queensland? I am losing my marbles. I don't understand it. Because it's not like the Cowboys were in good form. It's not like the Cowboys made the finals and their players were in good touch. The Cowboys were terrible. The Cowboys were abysmal. How has Cohen Hess been selected in the starting back row for Queensland? I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. Obviously Kafusi, excellent player, been there before. Tino on debut. I'm excited to see him. I am surprised he got the starting lock spot. I wouldn't be surprised if Jai Arrow starts at lock over Tino, and honestly, I would rather Tino start on the bench with Jai Arrow starting at lock. I think Jai Arrow is a more solid player, like defensively and probably just, getting through his work. And Tino just has that X factor. So I would be a little surprised if they don't switch this and Jai Arrow starts at lock. But I don't know. I mean, Wayne Bennett might like what he sees with Jai Arrow coming off the bench. I mean, Jai Arrow has some X factor as well. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. And then, I mean, the Blues back row, I mean, they've been there before. Very experienced, very, very strong. Strong defensively. Tyson Frizzell is sort of that X factor on the edge. Jake Trbojevic, am I surprised he got picked? Not really, but I do think Cameron Murray is just a better player than Jake Trbojevic, so I knew they wouldn't drop Jake, but I do think Cameron Murray probably deserved the starting lock spot, but, it is what it is. Still a very good player. I still can't get over Cohen Hess getting selected in the back row. I'm just looking at, so the bench, I'm like, so Kurt Capel's going to come in for Branko Lee, but I'm like, they could have started with Kurt Capel, they could have started with Jaden Sewer, and I'm also like, where is Pat Carrigan? I'm shocked Carrigan isn't here, but Cohen Hess is selected. I'm losing it. I'm losing it at Wayne Bennett. And also no Mo Fodawaker. Dude, that was a tough one because I'm like, who would they pick for Fodawaker? I do think I know a lot of people are criticizing Ben Hunt at number 14, but I actually like Ben Hunt in the utility. He's good cover for hooker. He's good cover for the halves. He can come on as that running lock and just, cause a little mischief around the ruck. I actually do like Ben Hunt as the number 14. Lindsay Collins has had a big year, but I do think Fodawaker has been just stronger, so I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't go with Big Mo. Jai Arrow definitely deserves his spot, and then Jaden Sewer I think has been incredible, and I was surprised he didn't get the starting spot. But yeah, I am surprised no Fodawaker and no Pat Carrigan. I mean, Carrigan was the Broncos' best player all year. Yeah, I question that decision. And then on the flip side, you have Cody Walker, Payne Haas, Cameron Murray, Angus Crichton. I mean, you got to say that the Blues bench, it definitely has more firepower. But I don't know. I mean, Payne Haas coming off as an impact player, I actually think Lindsay Collins can match him off the bench. As silly as people may think that sounds, I think Lindsay Collins can match him for intensity off the bench, because Payne Haas, he can play 80 minutes and play incredible, but like an impact player for like 20, 30, 35 minutes, does he have much more impact than a Lindsay Collins? I don't know. We'll see. Cameron Murray v. Arrow, both extremely good players. Cameron Murray has been in great form. Jai Arrow, I just love Jai Arrow. He's so good. His form has been a little bit down though, so we'll see. And then Angus Crichton, he's a great player as well, but I love Jaden Sewer. I can't wait to see Sewer play. Oh, I want him to rip in, dude. And then Cody Walker v. Ben Hunt. So a lot of talk has been made about Cody Walker in the 14, and I think he is a pretty good utility. I'll be interested to see where he plays him though, because yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, he's not going to take off Luke Keary or Cleary, so does he bring Cody Walker on? And he's not going to take off Damien Cook, so is he going to put Cody Walker on as another, like a second 5'8", basically, or another back row option? Because he's obviously not a big body, and he's, not strong in defense, you would say. So it'll be very interesting to see what he does with Cody Walker, because it's a very, very attacking option, but it is Origin, so if the game's tight in like the 50th minute, is he gonna throw Cody Walker out there? I don't know, dude. We'll see what happens on the night, but yeah, there's the teams. I actually think they're very, very strong teams. Like I said, I'm disappointed with a couple of the selections for Queensland. I'm surprised with Xavier Coates, and I'm very, very disappointed with Cohen Hess getting selected. But other than that, I think it's pretty much as good as it can get. I think they've gone with very, very strong outfits here. No Clemmer for Blues is a big omission. I'm a little bit surprised he was dropped. I know Clemmer's form, like the Knights, was a bit downhill, but I personally think Clemmer is a better forward than Daniel Saifidi, so I don't know. I find that one a bit strange as a Queenslander. I'm like, I would rather Saifidi than Clemmer, so I guess it's a good thing for us. But overall, I'm nervous and excited because I'm always nervous at Origin time. I'm not confident because I definitely, I mean, it's not the days of Thurston, Smith, Cronk, and Slater, dude, or Lockyer. It's not those days anymore. So it's gonna be a tough one. I'm back in Queensland, obviously, but who knows? I honestly, this game could go either way. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Any big omissions or big inclusions to any of these teams that you're surprised about? Who do you reckon's going to win? Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm sure I'll do a review after the game, and hopefully it'll be a nice review after Queensland win. But I'll see you guys in then. I'll see you guys then.